Hey everyone, my name is Josh and welcome back to your fourth stimulus package and news update. In today's update, we have a lot of news to get into, but first, if you would like to receive 5 free stocks from Webull valued all the way up to $2,300, make sure to claim them by clicking my link, which you will find in the description box below. Okay, so the Build Back Better bill Democratic leaders are trying to pass within the next few weeks, as we all know, recently had a new CBO score released. This score showed the bill estimated to cost around $3 trillion if all the programs are made permanent, despite Democrats saying it wouldn't cost anything at all. When the White House press secretary was confronted with this new data and asked if President Biden would commit to not making any of the new social programs permanent, she called it a fake CBO score. Watch.
Thank you, Jen. You're not going to believe this. I have another question about Build Back Better.
I'm ready.
So the president says that the Build Back Better is not going to add a penny to the deficit. The CBO has this new score where they assume that social programs are going to be made permanent, and in that case it would add almost $3 trillion. So does that mean that President Biden will commit that these programs are not going to be made permanent?
Well, first of all, what you're talking about here is a fake CBO score that is not based on the actual bill that anybody is voting on. This was a request by Senator Graham to score a bill that is not currently being debated. That is his prerogative to do. But what our focus is on the existing bill that will lower the deficit, that will also, over an additional 10 years, pay for the $2 trillion tax cuts that Republicans didn't pay for. They're welcome for that. So I would say, Peter, to your question, the president has conveyed very clearly, multiple times publicly, that he would like programs, if they're extended, to be paid for. That remains his commitment. But it's important to understand that when anybody raises a question about this new CBO score, it is a fake score about a bill that doesn't exist. And we should really focus on the actual bill everybody's going to vote on and considering in Congress right now.
Meanwhile, the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer laid out his priorities for the week ahead. Today, the Senate will look to raise the debt ceiling, and they'll also begin processing the National Defense Authorization Bill.
Last week, we advanced bipartisan legislation that will enable this chamber to address the debt ceiling on a fast-track basis. For the information of all, the Senate will act tomorrow to prevent default. The Senate will act tomorrow to prevent default. The Senate could also begin processing the annual Defense Authorization Bill, negotiated on a bipartisan, bicameral basis as early as tomorrow.
Finally, Schumer also recommits to passing the Build Back Better reconciliation bill before the Christmas holiday. The majority leader said he'll also continue to meet with his colleagues to have discussions on the bill, and that President Biden will meet with him. Him, of course, being Joe Manchin.
Between now and the end of the year, members should also expect we'll hold votes to confirm even more of the president's nominees. And on a parallel track, the Senate's moving forward on the reconciliation process so we can vote on President Biden's Build Back Better Act before the Christmas holiday.
Even though Senator Schumer remains optimistic about passing the Build Back Better Act by Christmas, Joe Manchin has shown just a bit less enthusiasm. Yesterday, he spoke out for the first time since the recent inflation report, showing a near 40-year high, and had this to say.
We last saw you, that inflation report came out saying the U.S. hit the 39-year high in inflation. Does that tell you that Congress should wait until next year to do the Build Back Better bill, if at all?
Well, whatever we're considering doing, or whatever Congress is considering doing, they should do it within the limits of what we can afford. And that means having a tax plan that's fair and equitable and keeps us competitive, but also makes everyone pay, especially the wealthy, pay their fair share too. See what that spins off, and if that's in that 1.7 range, then we should be spending whatever in that range as far as I'm concerned. If it's whatever plan it would be, pre-K, child care, end of what you call in-home care, then it should be 10 years. It shouldn't just be 1 year here, 3 years here, 5 years there, and that would be. I think it would be very transparent for the public to see exactly what they'd be getting for what we're spending for 10 years.
So you won't support it if these programs are temporary?
No, we're going to talk. We're still talking. I'm just, I'm listening to everybody, but I'm just telling you. Ask me about inflation is real. It's not transitory. It's alarming. It's going up, not down, and I think that should be something we're concerned about. Geopolitical fallout. We've talked about that. I'm concerned with close to 100,000 troops on the on the Russian-Ukraine border, and also with the continuous flyovers from China taunting Taiwan. These are all concerns of ours that we're very much concerned about. So we're very, very careful what we do. And I've always said the unknown right now is very, very great, and I want to make sure we can handle and take care of anything that does come at us.
So Manchin says other than this bill, there is a lot more to be concerned about. Manchin is then confronted with a more direct question and asked about Chuck Schumer's Christmas deadline.
So do you think that some of these unknowns, is this legislation becoming more imminent for you, or what are your conversations around a possible deadline or the urgency to get this done? Schumer says December 31st, maybe December, that he'd like to see this, or will it be even more than that?
I know people have been in a hurry for a long time to do something, but I think basically we're seeing things unfold that allows us to prepare better. And that's what we should do, take advantage of what we're doing in a very litigious way, and making sure what we do and how we do it, for what period of time we do it, is something that we can maintain, manage. My grandfather used to say, unmanaged debt will make a coward out of the decisions you make. And we're now at 29 trillion, and we'll be pushing on to 30 trillion. And I'm sure that Mr. Powell, with the Feds, they're going to make some decisions pretty soon here. And I'm understanding that he is considering things that we've talked about. Quantitative easing should be reduced or eliminated as quickly as possible. And the interest rate's going to affect all of us if he has to increase interest to try to control.
Clearly, Manchin is being very careful about how he answers this question, but it's also clear that he's still not making any commitments whatsoever to passing the bill before Christmas. Later on in the day, Senator Manchin held a call with the president where he noted that he's not yet ready to say yes to the bill, mostly due to the size and scope of the legislation, in addition to the recent inflation reports. We can definitely expect ongoing talks between Senators Joe Manchin, Chuck Schumer, and President Biden. In some other news, tomorrow, the final round of the child tax credit payments are expected to be sent out. To receive the other half of the payments, you'll need to claim the money when you go to file your tax returns next year. On the other hand, if you were supposed to receive the payments but you never did, you'll need to claim the entire amount, whether that's $3,000 or $3,600, as a credit on your tax returns. This also includes those of you with newborns this year, as long as they were born on or before December 31st of this year, you'll be entitled to the full $3,600 credit. Now, as far as future years go, if this credit is not extended in the Build Back Better bill, the monthly payments will go away and the credit will go back down to $2,000. If the Build Back Better bill does end up passing and includes an extension of the child tax credit payments, you should continue to receive the monthly payments next year as well. Okay, so in some other news, over the past couple of months, we've seen an increase in criminal activities. Some would argue that big cities are too soft on crime, while others, well, I'm not sure what the reason would be. Here is the White House press secretary explaining why the pandemic may be to blame for the increase in smash and grab robberies, including the burning down of a $500,000 Christmas tree in New York last weekend.
Okay. Final topic. Do you think it's possible that big cities are dealing with these smash and grab robberies right now, an increase in criminal activity because some prosecutors are too soft on crime?
I would say we have seen, I'm not going to attribute the reasoning from here. What I will tell you is we have seen an increase in crime over the course of the pandemic. There are a range of reasons for that. And what our focus is on is what we can do to address it. The president has proposed additional funding in the budget to make sure local police departments and cops have the funding they need. We have also worked directly with police departments in areas where they are seeing the highest impact of the crime, the retail theft, which we have great concern about. That's what our focus is on currently, is action and doing what we can to make sure the funding is out there to the communities that need it the most.
But I guess, what good does it do if you're going to give police departments extra money if they arrest bad guys and they bring them to jail and then they're not prosecuted, they're just right back out on the streets?
I think, Peter, what our focus is on is making sure that the local leaders, the police officers and departments who know what they need for these communities have the assistance and the funding they need. And that's what we're working around the clock on.
So the final one would be, just in the last week, we saw a New York Post item about a pickpocket with more than 30 arrests back out on the street. We've seen an arsonist burn down a $500,000 Christmas tree in New York City back out on the streets. Does the president think that that's good governing?
Again, I think I've spoken to the president's concerns about retail theft. If you have specific, and the actions we've taken for specific cases, I would point you to the local police departments or the Department of Justice.
In some other news, on Monday, President Biden signed an executive order related to transforming federal customer service and service delivery. Per Forbes, the order will direct government officials to, quote, account for the experiences of the public in seeking government services by making 36 customer service improvements across the federal government, according to a fact sheet released Monday. Older Americans will now be able to more easily claim Social Security benefits and manage their Medicare health care, for instance, and the government will implement new online tools for filing federal taxes. Furthermore, passport renewal will now be possible to do online, and the order promises, quote, increased use of technologies, end quote, at airports, will make check-in and security lines shorter. The order will also streamline student loan repayment infrastructure and make it easier to apply for the Public Service Loan Assistance Program, and small business owners and farmers will find it easier to apply for loans and other small business administration programs. Here is the White House press secretary explaining this new executive order.
Also wanted to note that today the president will sign an executive order that will help promote fiscal stewardship by improving the way our government delivers everyday services to the American people. It outlines more than 30 specific agency actions that will make it easier and simpler for people to access government services and benefits. Things like making Social Security benefits easier to access online so retirees don't have to go into offices if they don't want to, saving them time and big headaches at times. Using innovative technology to speed airport check-ins and reduce wait times, allowing Americans to renew their passports online instead of having to print forms and pay with a paper check or money order, and providing online tools that make it simpler to file your taxes. Also, you can update your address in there and not have to do it through repeated forms. I found that particularly exciting. The executive order also ensures agencies focus on the needs of the American people and spells out a process for agencies to continually improve their delivery of services.
So again, this executive order was simply made to hopefully make the use of government services more accessible and faster, which would be welcome news to all of us, considering how bad some government services can be. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. Again, if you would like to receive 5 free stocks from Webull, make sure to quickly claim them by clicking my link in the description box below. To receive the first free stock, you will need to fully open an account. Then to receive the 4 other free stocks, which will be valued up to $2,000, you'll need to make a qualifying deposit of at least $1. And even if you aren't all that interested in investing or continuing to invest at this point in time, you can always sell the free stocks you receive and transfer that money, however much they're worth, right back to your bank account. So free stocks or free money is completely up to you. So once again, I hope that everyone has a great and safe rest of their day. If you did enjoy the content in today's video, I would greatly appreciate if you would give this video a like, a big thumbs up. That does definitely help out with the YouTube algorithm. And until next time, as always, I'll see you in the next video.